I consider myself a pretty responsible father. My line of work allows me to stay at home and do most of the child caring, from feeding to bathing. But my wife is just miles better at knowing when the kids need what. Hello and welcome to Getting Pacific, where we're getting specific on trending topics straight from the newsroom at TaiwanPlus. I'm Joey Chow.
And I'm Michelle Chiang.
And for this episode of Getting Pacific, we're talking about the job that usually takes a whole village to do, but is somehow often put on just one person.
Taking your baby to work, a sometimes necessary part of parenthood. The unpredictable nature of raising a child is challenging, especially in Taiwan's modern work environment. This is particularly true for working moms who might feel that prioritizing motherhood over their job could harm their career. In the lead up to Mother's Day, a job search platform conducted a study asking married women how accommodating they felt their workplaces are towards women. Respondents gave an average rating of 4.4 out of 10 to their employers, and over half of respondents said that they were given a hard time by coworkers or superiors when pregnant or raising their kids. The study also found that working moms are more tired than ever before. Like many countries around the world, moms are celebrated in Taiwan on Mother's Day. But given how hard it is to be a mother in the modern world, with the need to balance parenthood, a career, and home, maybe one day isn't enough.
That was a report by Devon Tsai and Leslie Liao in the TaiwanPlus newsroom. And as you've heard, moms in Taiwan are feeling more tired and stressed than ever as they struggle to juggle their career and parenthood. A lot of moms also feel like their work environment aren't very friendly towards them. And for that, we'll be speaking with a couple of working moms and discuss how they do it. But this definitely is not a phenomenon unique to Taiwan.
Absolutely not. Motherly, an online platform comprised of an army of medical experts committed to provide real answers and real solutions to moms around the world, published a survey that indicated that last year, 2 out of 3 moms considered leaving the workforce due to the stress and cost of childcare. 2 out of 3 is 66%, and that's up 14% compared to last year. That shows that working moms' mental health is really not okay. The report also reveals that working mothers are experiencing higher levels of anxiety and depression compared to working fathers, with nearly half of mothers currently seeking therapy. So Joey, you're a dad. Why do you think that is?
We'll answer that question a bit later, and I can't speak for all dads, but I can tell you from experience that while I consider myself a pretty responsible father. My line of work allows me to stay at home and do most of the child caring, from feeding to bathing. But my wife is just miles better at knowing when the kids need what, when they need this, and what do they mean when they say whatever, and how are they feeling when they're doing whatever. And I think a big part of that has to do with the fact that she is just always thinking about them. What do they need to eat to stay healthy? What do they need to wear to stay warm? Do we have enough of this? Is it time to get more of that? Unfortunately, that also means that she's always stressed about it. So I think that goes for a lot of moms around the world. It might be in the biology, certain urges are just written in the DNA, and that they just naturally think about it more. I don't know. So now imagine having something that's already occupying your mental space around the clock, and on top of it, work. So you're juggling all of your children's needs, and then on one side, you have work deadlines, clients to meet, and don't get me started on the managers and coworkers. Not all of them are empathetic to the struggles of a working mom. So Michelle, pop quiz time. But this time it should be easy. What do you think is the percentage of working moms who feel like their working environment isn't supportive or friendly to them? Okay, is it A, 99%, B, 66%, or C, 33%? And we're talking about Taiwan, by the way.
Yep. Well, Taiwan is not as working mom friendly as, a lot of say the Northern European countries, right? So I'm going to guess 66% B.
Yes, ding, ding, ding. You be right on.
Hey.
According to a survey by a job search platform called Yes123, about 66%, that's again 2 out of 3, of working moms feel like their work environment isn't friendly to them. Also, on average, working moms spend about 10.6 hours a day at work, and about 21% work at least 12 hours or more. in Taiwan. When some parents put their jobs before their kids, about 81% of them felt a little bit guilty for not spending a lot of time together. But as you can see, that's a lot of time spent at work while having to juggle your family life.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I am myself not a mother, but I do have animals. So at least it's kind of a glimpse into the life of a working mom. And absolutely, the work environments here, they really don't help you accommodate what you are thinking about as far as what's going on in your household. So
yeah, it was weird because there are so many working moms out there. You think that people would have already fostered an environment to help take care of working moms better. But anyway, a second question for you. So from the same survey, if these same working moms could do it all over again, have kids and juggle work at the same time, what percentage of them do you think would choose to still have kids? Is it A, 99%, B, 66%, or C, 33%?
Okay, look, all moms will always tell you that they would choose to have you again, all over again, always. That's what your mom will always say to you, right?
Right, but this is an anonymous survey. So what do you think they said this time?
I actually have in the past read Reddit posts from anonymous parents who actually super regretted having children, partly because of the amount of economic pressure that's on them in order to make ends meet while having kids. So I'm going to say 33%.
Okay, by the way, this is 33% saying yes or 33% saying no?
33% of moms would do it again, meaning have children.
Okay. The answer is actually 66%, which is a lot higher than I expected and turned out as you expected too. Crazy, right? That they would say yes. And I guess, as you said, there are benefits to having children, I guess happiness is one that turns out that most of them would just do it all over again.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
Everyone, to each their own. Everyone has different priorities in life. And I do know many people who are amazing parents and they were born to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am very happy not being one, though. Partly because of what we're talking about in this particular episode.
Yeah, but that's why a spouse is so important. A spouse who really matches your insufficiencies, right? Like I myself could have never been a good parent, but my wife makes it all right. Okay, so one last question for you, and a fun one. What is the gift that mothers anticipate the most on Mother's Day? Okay, according to this survey, is it A, a full day to herself, B, 红包, as in red envelope full of money, is it C, a vacation, or D, all of the above?
Who wouldn't want all of the above? This is just all of the... I can't choose one of these, so they can't choose one of these. All of the above.
Yes, correct. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, all of the above.
So what about for dads, Joey? What do you wish for Father's Day?
Oh my gosh, I just want the second one. If I can only choose one, it's 红包. It's money all the way. I need more money for the family. And not just like a 红包filled with a few $1,000s. I need winning the lottery kind of money.
Everybody needs winning the lottery kind of money.
Yeah.
You can buy yourself vacations with that one.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're definitely not alone in feeling that way. At least here in Taiwan, the three most common sources of mental stress for working moms are traditional gender roles, because women are still believed to be, quote unquote, supposed to be in charge of raising the children. So if you want to pursue a career, it's your choice or sacrifice to make. Secondly, pressure from in-laws. A lot of in-laws are still, of a traditional mindset, so they would expect certain things from their daughter-in-law. And thirdly, economic pressure. It's difficult to live on only one stream of income. In Taipei, especially, the high cost of shelter. We talked about this in season 1. Taiwan's major cities have house price to annual income ratio comparable to some of the most expensive cities in the world. For the average income earners, if you don't eat, drink, or shop, it would still take you 15 years to save up enough money to buy an average house in Taipei. I'm lucky enough to own, and I could have never done it without parental help because it would have taken me 15 years. So going back to our news headline, a lot of mothers are finding it really challenging to pursue a career and be a parent at the same time. Some mothers feel like their work environments aren't friendly at all, including feeling like they're given a hard time by coworkers or superiors when pregnant or raising their kids. Moms that prioritize raising their children over their jobs could negatively affect their career. Do you think there's some stigma against working dads?
Obviously less, right? Mind you, Taiwan still in Asia, still somewhat traditional in the family sense. But I was very lucky to have a very compassionate boss. So he was very lenient with giving vacation time to both mom and dads. I used all of my vacation days combined with paternal leave and got, I think, 20 days to spend with my wife as she was giving birth. And really, I had really dependable coworkers to keep the department running while I was away, so I got really lucky. But usually here in Taiwan, maternity leave is 8 weeks for the moms, 7 days for paternity leaves, that's for the dads, and that includes prenatal checks in this 7 days. So if you go for 7 prenatal checks, and usually you go for more than that because it's usually 1 a month, then you would use up all 7 of those days. And postpartum, you wouldn't be able to spend any time with your wife unless you take your own vacation days.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. This is not very friendly for the dads who want to spend time to help out the moms. But the government also has some subsidies for daycare or at-home childcare. The big one, which we did take advantage of, is called parental leave allowances. So before the child is 3 years old, each parent can get a maximum of 6 months, that's 24 weeks of paid leave at 80% of the money that you were making at the company. So if my wife and I both have jobs, we can get our employers to sign an application form and we submit that to the labor ministry and get a maximum of together 12 months, which is 52 weeks, leave paid at 80%. We have twins. So if our employers agree, technically between Mina and I, we can both stop working for 12 months and the government picks up the check. But that's on paper. While your employers actually let you hold that position and take that long of a leave, that's hard to say. Well, and would you have a job after? That's another story. However, here are some of the countries with the longest maternity leaves. United Kingdom, for example, kind of like Taiwan, 52 weeks for a parent at 90% the pay. So just a little bit more pay than Taiwan. Bulgaria apparently has a 58.6 week leave for maternity at 90% of the pay. Norway, 49 weeks of leave at 100% of the pay, or 59 weeks of the leave at 80% of the pay. And finally, the best country to give birth in the world is Sweden, where you can have 69 weeks of leave, and it is possible to get compensated anywhere from $250 to $1,100 a day.
That is really impressive. And that's for each child.
Yeah.
That's actually very good. We should be living in, or you anyway, should be living in Sweden. So I also hear that if Swedish parents have to take time off to take care of their sick children, they can still continue to receive 80% of their salary. Maybe Taiwan needs to adopt some Scandinavian policies. But money is only part of the equation. Work-life balance has become increasingly more important in today's world. According to a global survey conducted by Deloitte, work-life balance is the top consideration when Gen Zs and millennials are choosing an employer. And about 81% of Gen Z moms say they left their jobs due to mental health reasons.
Yeah, stress is definitely a silent killer, and I'm glad that people are becoming more aware. When the combined effects of childcare and work become too overbearing, we're forced to choose, and people, well, often choose family over career. But ideally, we should be able to do both, right? Some people really enjoy working. If you're good at your job, you can feel fulfilled, and it'd be nice if they get to continue to do what they love doing while taking care of their kids. Maybe the government can contribute more, and not just monetary assistance too. It takes a lot more to foster a society-wide awareness that we need people to have kids to keep this economy running. So let's help them, and give them all the support they need.
Right. So today we're speaking with a couple of moms who are keeping it together really well. We're going to look at both sides of the equation, an employee mom and a business owner mom. Let's first start with business owner mom.
Yep. Her name is Melody, and she runs a brand of sportswear for women called Via Sweat. But she also started a new project called Ness Wellness, which is, meant to take care of your mental wellness from different perspectives. We'll talk a little bit more about her project, but we asked Melody what her daily lives are like.
I try to wake up early and then have my own time for me to kind of ground myself and center myself and get ready for the day before I wake up the kids. And then it's herding them out the door to get to school on time. Between 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon while they're in school, then I try to do all my, work. I have my own company, I have my own team. So my team is also kind of used to me answering a lot of emails early in the morning and then like being there from like 8 until maybe 3. And then they know that I have to wrap up around like 3 or 4 to go pick up the kids. But they don't get off work until like maybe 5 or 6. So like in between that time, they'll like send me a bunch of emails or messages. But after I pick up the kids, I'm like in mom mode until maybe about 7 or 8 when the kids are starting to like wind down for sleep. So then after they go to bed at the end of the night, then I take out my laptop again and then I start replying emails at like, 9 or 10 at night. So my team is kind of used to working around that and they know that I'm going to reply them at weird hours of the day, but I don't expect them to reply me, but it's just like a completely kind of different schedule.
And for our second mom, we have Nancy, who's a friend of mine. She works for a media company and is one of those moms who, at least to me, seems to have her family life and professional career very well balanced. So we asked her the same question: what's her daily life like?
I'm at one of those weird jobs where I do work 8 hours a day, but it's really 8 hours. So I'm in the office 8 hours, and so I can get out of work at 4 o'clock, which gives me just enough time when my son was in preschool and had to be picked up at 5:30 at the latest. It gives me just enough time to like get out of work, travel, commute to his preschool, and then be at the preschool maybe like 5:20, 10 minutes before he gets off. But it's a nonstop, like go, 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 go. Maybe there's time to go to the bathroom, maybe not, but then you just got to keep going. And there's no time to stop and buy the shampoo that you're running out of because you have to be at the door before 5:30. So it's a little bit frantic. And then now that he's in elementary school and he's going to an after school English school, it is even more manageable, I guess, because it's private and it's more expensive. They can keep your child up to 7 o'clock at night. And so it gives me much more time to be like, oh, I'm just going to go buy some, daily necessities or buy some fruit or grocery shop a little bit. And then I can go pick him up. So even more manageable now that he's older. But then there's a lot of administrative things to take care of. So the homework, check the homework. And then if he doesn't understand, go over the problems. If he made a mistake, blah, blah. So it's a whole evening thing. And then once he's done that, then bath and then bed. And it's like a constant like spinning wheel of schedule and the wheel doesn't stop. And then sometimes you just want to be like, hey, I'd like to get off the wheel for a little while longer, just mentally. But it can be hard to get that time. And so that time off becomes like super, super precious, and then you guard it with your life.
So as you can hear, we first listened to business owner mom's testimonial and then employee mom's testimonial. Stark difference between the two, right? So you have so much more leisure time. You can do it with grace if you own the business because you work on your own clock. But if you have to work at an office, you have to negotiate first off with your employer and with your coworkers what time you need to get off. And when you do get off work, you're racing to your next objective of the day, which is taking care of the kids. And with no break in the middle, that evening routine becomes really stressful. You do the homework, you put them to bed, and then by the time you actually have some time for yourself, you're absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, as she said, she guards that free time, that little tiny bit of free time she has with her life.
Yeah.
But from the business owner standpoint, being a business owner myself, you also have to look out with the team that you hire because some of them won't actually like responding outside of normal business hours, and or they won't understand that maybe you can't answer their question right away, that kind of thing. So there's a give and take, I think, on both sides.
Yeah, that's true. So either way, it takes a lot of managing, it takes a lot of finessing, which is why I always have a lot of respect for people who can juggle both roles really well. In fact, talking about roles, we asked the two ladies again, how do they manage their roles as someone who works and someone who moms? We'll start with business owner mom again.
They always say everyone has the same hours of day as Beyonce. Like, we all have 24 hours a day, and there's so many time management hacks where, okay, you can work for 20 minutes and then rest for 10 minutes and break down the day into tasks, into priorities. But I feel like as humans, that's not sustainable. It was important for me to realize that and almost lean into that. So now I'm more aware of my energy. Like, my energy management is more important to me than my time management. So a meeting might deplete my energy. Because of that, I need to kind of replenish my energy. So I would go for a quick walk downstairs or just go to the convenience store just to get a breath of fresh air, just to kind of switch a mindset, maybe do a quick breath work before coming back to my desk and keep going. But if I don't do that, I'm just going to deplete my own energy levels. And then I'm not going to be productive. I'm not going to be constructive. It's not good for anyone. It's not good for me as a manager to show up for my team. It's not good for me as a mom to show up for my kids. I think taking care of yourself in between is so important. And I always like to say that you can't pour from an empty cup. So regardless if you have a team that needs you, you have family that needs you, like you have to fill up your own cup first. You have to take care of yourself first in order to be able to take care of everyone who needs you.
Like, I'm fortunate that I work in a job where the work and the home life is generally separate. I very, very rarely have to be at home with a child and then be like, oh, I got to do a work thing really quick, or, oh, can I just jump on? Like, that almost never happens. And so when it does happen, like maybe not even once a year, then it's okay. I can make an exception just because it's so rare. And same with like taking time off or, special circumstances where I just have to like take off work. See ya. And it can happen. So this job is working out well for my home life. But for my husband, he works in the tech industry-ish, and then it's much more of a traditional like Taiwanese like 责任制, like it's based on your responsibility. So that means that he does do the after work emails, and your boss calls you at like 8:30 or 9 and it's like, oh, sorry, I know I'm disturbing you, but I need this report. Can you do it tomorrow? Or can you have it done by tomorrow? Ha ha ha. And are you going to be like, no, I can't, sorry. No, it has to happen. So he gets to spend a little bit of time with my son, but not as much.
There you go. So a little different perspective into a different industry. It really depends on what kind of job you do, right? And the tech industry being one of Taiwan's, main driving economic forces, I guess people just get whipped a little harder in that industry.
Yeah, sounds like it. I am lucky enough to currently work at Radio Taiwan International, where they're super, super flexible with hours. If I have something come up, I can simply work from home or out of the office, or work earlier, finish my duties, and then I don't have to be there for the actual shift. So I am very thankful for that, and I really am glad that both Nancy and Melody are able to manage their roles really well.
Yeah, they're doing it quite well. And for anyone who has ever worked multiple jobs while also parenting, the toughest part, especially when the kids are little, well, maybe even when they're older too, it's just how do you contain your anger or frustration when they go AWOL? So I asked them, how do you leave your frustration or your emotions from work at the door? How do you check that baggage and then, just kind of face your kids with all the patience that you have? We'll start with business mom again.
We like to say that we have a whole chunk of time to, okay, this is my work, and this is my mom mode, and this is my work mode. But like, to be honest, it doesn't really work like that, because like your line notifications are always coming in, your emails are always coming in, and like you're always kind of like switching between them. So the emotions that you feel during work, you have to be able to separate that. You can't bring that out onto your family or your kids. And you have to be very aware of what is triggering you. Like, okay, I am aware that I'm being impatient towards my kids. Then I would kind of like ask myself, what triggered this impatience? It could be something that happened during work. Like maybe it's like a really annoying client meeting where you're just like annoyed, but that kind of manifested into this impatience with your kid. So I try to kind of like find the origin of it. Like I ask myself, what is triggering me? Where did this come from? And then once you know kind of like the source, then you're like, okay, well, it's not fair for me to bring that home to the kids because it has nothing to do with them.
Generally speaking, I'm pretty off of work, but we're still human. Like I still have days where like somebody really annoyed me at work and I need to complain to somebody, and it does affect my mood. I find that like when I'm feeling really cranky or really angry about something at work, then it's harder for me to be like fully engaged and fully open to my son. And he notices it too. But I think he's like old enough now where I let him know when I've had a bad day sometimes. We used to do this thing where like I would ask him about his day. Did anything good happen? Did anything bad happen? And then I'll tell him something about my day too. And then so now it's become sharing the thing that made mommy angry at work. And the strange thing is like he really likes hearing about it. I don't know. He would say, oh, really? What happened? What happened? And he'd be really interested. And then he'll be like, oh, it was like that time when me and my friend, like he'll find something from his life or his friendships or his relationships that's similar. So hopefully that helps me to vent a little bit, but it also helps to show my son, like, anger is a proper emotion and it's an emotion like everybody feels.
So there you go. Different personalities and definitely different styles of parenting. I find that the business owner mom is just more internal. She sort of resolves a lot within herself. Find the right energy, how to recharge herself throughout the day, how to repackage the emotions or frustration that she's feeling, and then face her kids with grace. And then there is the other mom who says, you know what, just bring it all out and let's share it together. We'll tackle it as a family. And I think they all work. But what's important is that they all found ways to de-stress from their personal and work life so that they can have a better relationship with family.
Yes, indeed. I actually very much liked that Nancy said it shows that anger is an emotion that everybody has and everybody's human. And when they share, her son also comes up with his own stories of what's been happening in his own life.
Yeah.
Right? So it's adorable. But yes, everybody has different parenting styles and everyone has different ways to cope with just stress in general. So I'm very happy for these two moms. They seem to have it well balanced.
Yep. So the Taiwanese society hasn't exactly morphed into a 100% safe space or comfortable space for working moms. There's still a lot of stress. The government could still do more. But until all of that happened, today we brought to you two moms who are, at least in my opinion, doing it well and doing it with grace. And maybe there's something that you can take away from how to remove the stress from your life or at least decrease them. And if you want to get more help, the business owner mom has a platform called Ness Wellness, which integrates physical, mental, and spiritual health resources. They invite instructors, coaches, and experts to promote a diversified, healthy lifestyle through 8 different dimensions of well-being, and that includes physical well-being like sleep, exercises, nutrition, social well-being like your relationship with coworkers, family, spouse, children, occupational well-being like what you do, what you're passionate about, and where you find a sense of fulfillment. There's also emotional, intellectual, spiritual, environmental, and even financial well-being. These are all lifestyle-driven dimensions, and if you take care of them, you will find balance in life. There are a series of forums and seminars coming up for moms specifically, and if you are interested, I'll put some information in the show notes. But that about wraps up today's episode, so thank you for joining us, and I hope we got Pacific enough for you. I am Joey Chow, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Joey Taipei. If you'd like to give us an idea or share your thoughts, toss us your 2 cents about the show, don't be shy. Feel free to write to Joey at gettingpacific.com.
And I'm Michelle Chiang. You can usually find me over on Radio Taiwan International, where I host the show Geek Out and Jukebox Journeys. But if you want to talk to me, you can find me at Phoenix Dice, basically on all social media, because I am the Chief Phoenix Wrangler at phoenixdice.com, where you can get your Dungeons & Dragons dice and other adventuring gear stuff.
Yep, and if you like podcasts, check out TaiwanPlus's tech podcast, Innovative Minds, co-hosted by Taiwan's own Minister of Digital Affairs, Audrey Tang, as well as our short series, The Ripple Effect podcast. We've also got some interviews and deep dives into recent news stories in our shows Zoom In, Zoom Out, and Connected with Divya Kapalan. And if you want even more news and views from Taiwan and around the world, check out the huge catalog of news and entertainment on our website, TaiwanPlus.com, as well as YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter. Thank you for listening, and we hope you'll join us again on Getting Pacific.